This is Valley News Live at 5.
Good afternoon, everyone. Our break from the rain is about to come to an end. And for those living on the border with Montana, they could be shoveling snow in the next few hours. Hutch is in early with the very latest. Hutch?
Mike, thanks so much. And good evening, everyone. Yes, we're on the doorstep of a first alert weather day for Wednesday. Here are the headlines we're watching. Last night we had a beautiful display of northern lights, and they will be out again in all likelihood. But we have some tricky clouds. We'll talk about that in your forecast Wednesday. That storm looks very windy and rainy for many of us. We'll have details on what you can expect, and we'll talk about the snow out west. And also, as this system exits, northwest winds will usher in some of the coolest air of the season. For many of us, it will be our first widespread frost. Here's the Aurora chance update. It'll be a little trickier tonight because of the clouds. And again, there's a fairly decent chance, but it's not guaranteed. And it's not guaranteed because now we have a window, thanks to those clouds, of time to limit us. Here's the latest satellite radar look at things are going already. Black Hills, eastern Montana, rain for parts of eastern South Dakota. Cloud motion to the north and to the east this evening. There's more coming. So our western counties have a lower chance at seeing the northern lights tonight. Best viewing chance will be early in the evening and early overnight in central Minnesota and the southern Red River Valley before the clouds move in. Just look at the temperature difference. 29 in Casper, a little scary for ghosts there. 49 in Minot and 61 degrees as we look into Lakes Country. Coming up here in just a minute, we'll have hour-by-hour details on the track timing of our storm on Wednesday, and we'll talk about that first alert weather day on Saturday as well with those frost chances. Mike?
Interesting. Thanks, Hutch. The man who police say fired shots at a Fargo apartment complex has been cleared of attempted murder charges. Today, a jury found Jerome Kuhn not guilty on charges of attempted murder and theft, but he was found guilty on 4 other charges. The charges date back to a shooting that took place in January at the Arbors Apartments. Court documents say shots are believed to have been fired from Kuhn and another man, Oliver Ty. A woman was hit multiple times. We're now learning that Gabby Petito was strangled to death. That news from a Wyoming coroner. The 22-year-old disappeared on a cross-country road trip with her fiancé, Brian Laundrie. In August, police in Utah stopped the couple after someone reported an altercation between the two. Her body was found last month along the border of the Grand Teton National Park. Today, the coroner also said that her remains were outside for 3 to 4 weeks. The still missing big piece of the equation, the whereabouts of Laundrie. Last week, his father briefly joined the exhaustive search for his son at a Florida nature preserve. A lawyer for Petito's family repeated this message today.
For Brian, we're asking you to turn yourself in.
The coroner said little else about Petito's physical condition, but did say that she was not pregnant at the time of her death. A man is in jail after police were called to a woman being held against her will. Jessie Dill and the woman were found at a loaf and jug in Jamestown this afternoon. Police say Dill was recently released from jail and that his papers state that he was not allowed to have any sort of contact with the woman. The woman was not physically harmed. A Barnes County man could spend the rest of his life in prison after authorities say he forced a young girl to have sexual relations with him earlier this summer. Authorities say Sargent County investigators were contacted in August by a 13-year-old girl who said that Trent Rolland was sending her inappropriate Snapchats. They say at first Rolland told the victim that he was 16, but later admitted to being 22. The victim also told investigators that Rolland touched her inappropriately when they were hanging out with friends. A 19-year-old man is dead. Another man arrested following an ATV crash. That crash happening on Saturday just north of Akeley, Minnesota. Authorities say 19-year-old Brandon Zantowski was driving the ATV when he went off a curve and crashed into a tree. Alcohol was a factor in the crash. Investigators say 21-year-old Tyler Willett is in jail, accused of providing the teen with alcohol. A fire in southern Minnesota has claimed the lives of more than 100 rabbits. It happened north of Hollandale on Sunday night. The Freeborn County Sheriff's Office says 117 died, 3 rabbits survived. The cause of the fire has not been released, but authorities say they don't suspect any foul play. 2 men have been charged in connection with a mass shooting on that St. Paul bar over the weekend. One of the 2, a second-degree murder charge, and he also faces 11 counts of second-degree attempted murder. The other man faces 12 counts of second-degree attempted murder. According to a criminal complaint, the first shots were fired after midnight on Sunday inside the 7th Street Truck Park. One man was shot twice in the stomach. The victim was later arrested by police. A 27-year-old woman was killed. 14 others were injured. Police say the motive for the shooting is unclear. The football coach at Proctor High Schools in Minnesota is on personal leave of absence for the remainder of the school year. In addition, the superintendent says Coach Derek Parendo has resigned from all positions within the school. This follows a police investigation surrounding student misconduct on the football team. This complaint has also led to the cancellation of the team's season. No additional details are being shared at this time. New this afternoon at 5, during the pandemic, the use of QR codes ramped up. For example, businesses took advantage of the contactless scanning technology to share their menus. But as Valley News Team's JC Dodd reports, the BBB is now warning of QR code scams, stealing people's information and, in some cases, their money.
Walking through downtown Fargo, QR codes aren't hard to find in restaurants, sidewalks, and retail stores.
QR codes are everywhere now, from businesses offering the QR codes to point consumers to their apps or to track packages or to view menus.
Co-owner of Daly's Market, Andrew Young, says his business just started using them.
Only a few months ago to help incentivize customers.
This QR code takes people to a daily contest to win prizes from the store. Today was the first Young had heard of the possible scam.
Our website is secure. We go through a whole process to make sure it's secure.
The Better Business Bureau says in some cases the QR code takes the user to a phishing website where they're prompted to type in login information for scammers to steal. In others, the con artists use them to launch automatic payment apps or follow a malicious social media account.
One thing is certain in all of these cases is that scammers are hoping that you will trust this code without seeing the URL, and you're going to click on that link and do whatever it is prompted on the other side of it.
In the case for the Daily Market, Young says he's confident in the QR code they have.
As a business owner, it's important to be, concerned or at least aware, of some of the potential things that can happen or that can risk, your customers. We want our customers to feel safe in our store, obviously, and we want our customers to feel safe when they're using, our QR codes, for example.
In Fargo, JC Dodd, Valley News Live.
And for tips on how to avoid falling victim, check out this story on your VNL News app. Now, if you have been scammed, the Better Business Bureau encourages you to report it to their BBB scam tracker. They say you can help others by reporting what you know. 173 claims have now been filed against Glosser Images. They've been filed with the North Dakota Attorney General's office. The AG's office says this was as of Friday, but several more claims have been processed since then. They just haven't been finished. The Bismarck-based photography business announced its sudden closure last Thursday due to the pandemic. The decision has left many customers out of thousands of dollars. The AG's office says these types of consumer fraud investigations often take several months to complete. Gigi's Playhouse in Fargo is trying to rebuild after its building burned down 5 months ago. The Down Syndrome Achievement Center moved into a temporary space, but it's only doing part of its job. We hope you'll join us on Valley News Live at 6 and 6:30. We're going to take a look at how the loss of the Playhouse means fewer families impacted by Down syndrome are getting the services they need. Nationwide, COVID-19 cases are on the decline, but Sanford officials say that's not the case here in North Dakota. This week, they're reporting 51 hospitalizations from COVID-19. That's one more than last week. Sanford's Vice President, Dr. Doug Griffin, says rural communities in the state have the highest mortality rate, and he says it's probably because of their low vaccination rates.
Hoping that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, but we're still expecting similar case volume for at least the next couple of weeks before a gradual taper down.
Sanford added 10 new hospital beds this week as the hospital continues to operate at capacity. Moderna is urging the government to authorize a half-size COVID-19 booster dose for some adults. The pharmaceutical company is set to meet with the U.S. Food and Drug Administration's vaccine advisors this week. It wants a green light for a booster dose of 50 micrograms instead of the 100 used in the 2-dose vaccine. FDA vaccine advisors are set to meet later this week to consider both Moderna and Johnson & Johnson's COVID-19 booster help. There's an important deadline for Minnesotans who need help paying rent. Starting today, all lease terminations and evictions protections are lifted unless you're eligible for the rental assistance and have filed an application. You're going to need to apply for help or you could be evicted. This means that property managers don't have to provide a 15-day pre-eviction filing notice anymore. If you're in need of help, head to the website that you can see right now on your screen. Stick around after the weather, why this year will go down in the record books when it comes to weather-related disasters.
As our skies fill with clouds, we turn to memories you shared with us of last night's Northern Lights. This one near Edgeley, seen down near the South Dakota border. Here's a time lapse from Devil's Lake. Our tower cam there, keeping an eye on things as we went through the overnight hours. Hey, stormy weather's heading our way. I'll have hour-by-hour details on what you can expect right after this.